Hello everyone, this is Jason from Primetime Aquatics, and in today's video we have a product review for you, and that product is this. This is the Fluval C2 hang-on back filter, good for around up to 30 gallons. We're going to take a closer look at it, we're going to unbox it, talk about the good, the bad, the ugly. Hope you enjoy the video, appreciate you being here. Okay, so why this filter? Well, we've never had one in the fish room before. It gets great reviews. A lot of people like it. And we need another filter for the tank right behind me over here. This is our 50-gallon lowboy multi-tank. Right now, it's running 2 sponge filters and an internal canister filter. And one of the downsides of the internal canister filter is it's a little bit hard to keep clean and maintain. So we're going to put this thing in its place. Now, this filter runs right now around $40 on Amazon, and it pumps around 119 gallons per hour. Granted, it's going to be a little undersized for that 50-gallon lowboy, but like I said, we already have the 2 sponge filters in there. The main purpose for this is going to be pulling particulate matter, mechanical filtration out of that tank, and it should give it a pretty good workout. Now, there are some other filters you might want to consider if you're looking at the Fluval C2. Another type of filter to look at is the Marineland Pro 125. That's actually going to give you around 125 gallons per hour, and it's a little bit cheaper. It's only around $25, $26 right now on Amazon. The other option is the AquaClear 30. It's going to look very similar to this because the parent company that owns Fluval also owns AquaClear, but that filter is going to pump around 150 gallons per hour, and it's a little bit less expensive at $35. Finally, you always have the Seachem Title 35, which is a filter that we have reviewed before. I will put lots of filtration videos down in the description below if you want to do some more research. That particular filter, the Seachem 35, filters around 130 gallons per hour, but it costs around the same as this at around $41 on Amazon. If you are interested in this filter or the other ones I just mentioned, I will put Amazon affiliate links down in the description below for you to check out. All right, so back to this guy, the Fluval C2. Nice box, I guess that's the first thing we can say about it. Let's go ahead and open up the box and see how this thing is packaged, because sometimes you can tell a lot by a company based on how it's packaged, and check that out. Everything is packaged nice and neat, fit and firm. We do have a box in here. This box is going to contain the carbon, the activated carbon, plus the biomedia. Believe it or not, I actually don't use these things because most of the hang-on back filters that we're using in our fish room are really there for mechanical filtration, not the biological side of it, but I'll show you this more in a second. Let's go ahead and get to the actual filter itself. Let's see how we can do this. I only have 2 hands. There's lots of parts and pieces. I am going to set the box aside because we won't need it. Pretty cool thing, and that is, well, it's a relatively small filter, which is what you would expect for something that is going to be used somewhere between a 10 and a 30 gallon. Again, at 119 gallons per hour, you generally want to have your fish tank turning at least 4 to 5 times per hour in volume. So this is, again, this is good for up to around 20 to 30 gallons or so. Now, I like it because it's a nice solid plastic, so this is not a cheap filter. As I've already mentioned, out of the 4 that I just previously mentioned, this is on the higher price point side of things, and the quality is there. The plastic is a nice, hard, durable plastic, which is good. We open up the lid, couple things you're going to get. This part here, the intake, there is a small amount of adjustment, so just like the AquaClears, you can slide this back and forth, and when you do, it will alter the flow a little bit. The flow control is not nearly as good as, let's say, the Marineland Pro series or the Seachem Title line, where you can really go from a slow trickle all the way up to full blast. This one is not going to quite give you that. Something to consider if you've got fish like bettas or some kind of long-finned, slow-moving fish. This might be in a smaller tank like a 10-gallon or a 15. Might be a little bit too much flow for them. Now, couple of really cool things. So what this is going to do is the water is going to come through the intake, and then there's actually a little hole in the back, and it actually flows right in the back side of this. That's why there's this notch. This comes with the filter, and you've got kind of a sort of coarse sponge going on here that's going to trap a lot of the particulate matter. So the first stage in this filtration is going to be trapping all of the gunk that's in the water, and that's important because you want it to get trapped here and not wind up in your biological filtration where it's going to hamper the denitrification process where the bacteria are going to convert ammonia to nitrite, nitrite to nitrate. So that's the first part. That's this part back here. The second part is kind of interesting. You pull this little lid off, and then down here there's a basket. And that basket is where the biomedia can go, where the activated carbon go. If you wanted to put filter floss, that would go there as well. And then again, I'm running out of hands here, so let me put this down. That's the box that I had. I'm going to put that little top piece down. And then this part just pulls out, and then you've got a basket where you can put your biological media or your filter floss. And again, this is a smaller size filter. They come in all different sizes. So if you've got a bigger tank, they have a bigger filter. So a couple things that we can learn right away. Thing number one, very durable, very hard plastic. That's a good thing, high quality. Two, I like the fact that we're dealing with two sections of this filter that are going to be very easy to maintain. You can put filter floss in here. You can put your own sponge in here. Just cut it to size. You do not need to buy the cartridges for this filter. In fact, I've done an entire video on how to save money on aquarium filtration. That will be in the upper right-hand corner as well as in the description below. Like that, this is really easy to pull out. I like this kind of basket way better than the AquaClear. The AquaClear, the sides just kind of fall down sometimes. This is nice, self-contained. One thing to keep in mind, one thing to consider, I'm going to put this lid down too here for a second, is the motor. And if you've been watching the channel for any length of time, you will know that I really do prefer a motor that is going to be in the water. And the reason for that is if the power ever goes out, if anything like that happens, the filter just blips even just for a moment. With the filter being in the water, those filters are self-priming, which means you don't have to fill the back of the filter compartment up in order to get the thing running again. With this filter, just like the AquaClears, because the impeller is external, sitting outside the tank, if for some reason the power goes out, if this starts to run a little bit low, you may run into a situation where this filter stops working. Now, with the Seachem titles and with the Marineland Pro series, the motor is actually in the water. It's actually in this location right here, so it sits internally. A couple things that are valuable there is one, it's self-priming, as I've already mentioned. Two, they're very quiet. All right, so we're going to look at how noisy this filter is when we put it on this 50-gallon lowboy. Now, I mentioned, let me get the box here. I'm going to put this down for a second. Okay, so inside the box that came with the filter, and I like this, it just kind of opens up like that, very clean and smooth. You've got the activated carbon, which you can certainly use. The activated carbon is there kind of for chemical filtration. Sometimes it will remove odors. If there's medications that you put in the tank and then you want to remove the medications, the activated carbon will sometimes do that. There's also some surface area here for some biomedia. This would be best if you put this in a filter bag, which is apparently not included. So there's that. The rest of the intake is here, which I'll show you how to put that together in a second. And then you've got this little piece here that's going to go under the filter, and it's going to allow you to level the filter once it's against the back, so it's not leaning either way. I'm going to show you that too. Okay, so the two pieces, you've got the intake that is going to just slide in. You can just take this off for a second. So we've got the intake here. This piece just slides in like that. And then you've got an adjustment, right? So you can adjust this thing. Because we're doing the 50-gallon lowboy, I'm probably going to leave this all the way in, but it's got a fairly long adjustment so that if you're filtering on, like, let's say a 20-gallon standard tank, the intake is going to be fine. And then this just slides right back in, snaps into place. There you go. This other piece right here, that was the leveling piece. There is a hole down here at the bottom, right here, and you just press that in, and then you can move this piece here. Hopefully you can see it, and that will level the filter so that's not leaning this way or leaning this way when you put it on the tank. So you'll have this leveling piece down here that you can turn. All right, let's go see what it looks like on the tank. So as you can see, the flow is quite strong for a filter this size. Like I said, it's going to pump. It's going to put through about 119 gallons per hour, which is going to be sufficient for what we need it to do here. It's small, it's compact, it looks good. On the back of the tank, you're not really going to see too much of it, but here on the lowboy, it'll be a little bit more visible. Right now, it's very quiet. The noise that you're hearing, unfortunately, when this filter is hooked up to the same system as the rest of the filtration, so you've got another bunch of hang-on back filters that have turned on, as well as all of our sponge filters and our air system. That buzzing that you hear is the air system. It's not this filter. The filter is very quiet, so that's good. So that's exactly what we want. It's running well. So as you can see, the filter is running well. It's relatively quiet. It is doing its job. Like I said, we are going to check back in about 6 to 12 months and see how it's doing long term. I don't anticipate any issues because they are a higher quality filter that generally has good construction. Again, if you're interested in the filters, check out the description below. If you want more information on some of the filters, hang-on back filters that we've tested before, there'll be videos down in the description as well. Appreciate you being here, and we'll see you in the next one.